Okay, so I recently posted this art journal page here that I did, and I've had some requests to share my art journal. So I thought, oh, okay, it's not done, but why not, give a quick flip through of my journal. So this is a Dylusions, what is it, 8.5 by 11. It's got the mixed media heavy cardstock in these pages. So this book, how it works for me is because it's such a large size, I really enjoy just getting in here and playing and kind of really just creating backgrounds and just playing around with stuff. So yep, I'm just gonna flip through. So this one, sometimes, I get sidetracked, and so I'll just take and stick whatever I was working on at the time with it. So this is like, currently in the works page. And then there's the one I shared that was the Tim Holtz tag inspired. Here's another one. This one is just mainly playing around with some gray colors, just layers and layers. And then these pages here, they're separate, so I wanted to keep the vision to one page. So here's one using some Kim Dello stencils. And so if we flip it, here's another one. I love circles. I don't know what it is that just seems to be when I'm wanting to make marks. My hand just wants to do that circle motion. Here's another one. I don't know if this one's quite finished yet. This one here was layered on top of some music sheet that I then ripped back and just added ink and paint to. And then this one here, it's kind of the same concept. I really loved this tag and just wanted to incorporate it with a bigger background, so I just did some journaling behind it, which nobody has to read, and the paint resist technique. Ooh, and then I really like this one. I don't know if you can see that shimmer. This started with just a bunch of mark making, and it was just too busy and too overwhelming. So then I just used some masks and some stencils, and again, just some pen work. And this one, woo, that bubblegum color just really pops out at you. But really, this page was more just playing around with colors that you just don't think go. And in the end, after you add layer and layer and layer on, they just kind of do, Here's another one. I was really, at the time, I had made like a stamp. This is like a big handmade stamp that I had been using with the gel press. And then this one, this was inspired, I think, by Mixed Media Jen, I believe. But these are Scribble Sticks by Dina Wakely. And then, yeah, I just added, I like that rainbow look. So I'm like, I don't usually do rainbows, so I gave it a try, and I like how that turned out. But I think this one might be one of my favorites in the book. And this is just layers and layers, just, I'm really drawn to the fluorescent colors, which you'll see in a couple more pages. But yeah, just really, this is just layers of mark making. And here, this is a work in progress. Remember, you can always add, instead of stamps, you can always add the Tim Holtz rub-ons. This one's probably going to be a little bit more on the subtle side. It's, the next step for this one would be, just to add some pen work and maybe, block out some color a little bit more, and then just continue to go. And this is also a work in progress. And also, I find myself that when I might have, a lot of extra leftover paint or something on my palette, I just go in and scrape it through. It's another, it's pretty bright, pretty flowery. Always love the drips. Woo! And and there's nothing even wrong, this is such a bright page, and I mean, even to throw some orange in there, it just it just works. I don't know. Well, for me anyway. This might be some, way too busy for some, but I like it. These are some bigger marks, mark making. And again, I'm mixing, paint and sprays and crayons, and don't leave it to just one medium. It doesn't all have to be. I even got some crackle in there. It doesn't have to all be, just paint and etc. This is another work in progress. There's one where I took it pretty much all the way through. This one's kind of concentrating on, the Tim Holtz stamp here. Again, this is kind of like more of like a card concept, only, made really big. Cut, they might have had the card that inspired me to do this, might have had a small balloon or, something smaller, and I just made it bigger because, And then this one here, I believe I do have a video of this one up on my YouTube channel under my name. It's another work in progress. This one was pretty cool because I just took some natural elements and just did a couple sprays, and this is a stencil. Have to get back and work on that one. And then here, it's in a vintage mood, and so I pulled out the book and had some scraps laying around. So I had some scraps of some textile and some ribbon. And this one here, this is a bit busy for me, but I think I had cleaned up some of the golden iridescent paint. And that's a little bizarre, pretty big, contrast here. But thank goodness it flips, right? And we can always insert, and add these, and then it even strengthens up your binding too. So, and you know what? Sometimes there's oops. Like, this one I just thought, oh, it'll be a great idea to, put this paper on here, and not really liking this, but, eventually I'll probably just end up covering it up if I have an idea to finish this page off. And, ooh, you gotta love, like the turquoisey blue with the red. It just does something, And then here, this is another work in progress. This was inspired by this paper here that I had extra. Ooh, and see, that was leftover paints from there. Went on to here to start this one, which this obviously is still just needs a few more layers. And probably this one's so busy it's got to be, there needs to be a focal to just ground this. Maybe send some of it back. And then also, here's one I was trying. I had a bunch of gesso left over, and so I just brayered it out and then laid a stencil down just to. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I don't think you can, but oh, there it is. So, just press the stencil on so there's actually some texture in here that once add ink or something to it. So you can even, get a base started for a page. This is fun. Got a lot of textures, playing around with some new stencils I had gotten. And then here, this one needs a little bit more. But, that's the fun of, and that's why I like the art journals, because, when you just feel like playing around and trying new colors or products that you get, this is a perfect spot to do it, because really, it was my choice to share this, but you don't have to share these with anybody. And you get to look back and it inspires you at another time, and who knows, it might say, oh, you know what, I want to do that again because I really enjoyed it. This is a nice kind of monochromatic one, and again using different mediums in there. And then this one here is the final. This is definitely a different paint. It's got a shine to it, which is different. Usually the whites are a little bit more matte than that, but that needs some more playing around. But then here's the last one. And if there's any of these pages that maybe you'd be interested in me doing a you know, a tutorial, a YouTube tutorial on, I can always try. So just, you know, get in contact with me and let me know. And there you have it. So thank you so much for viewing. And as always, have a blessed day.